is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's live podcast series, The Weekly Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Mekas. If this is your first time, click subscribe, like, share, and comment. So stay tuned this Friday at 9 p.m. on the YouTube channel. We're going to show a very special presentation, a year in the making of our podcast here at Conscious Radio Network. So stay tuned, 9 o'clock this Friday here on the YouTube channel. And it's not a very long one. It's fairly short, but it's worth watching. You get to see a chronological year in review of our shows. Also, stay tuned next Monday. A Light in Darkness paranormal investigator Aaron Hoffman will be with us, sharing his stories and all of his work, as well as his magazine, Paranormal Magazine, and his group. But other than that, let's jump in tonight, because tonight with us, we have an international evidential medium, psychic, intuitive healer, and counselor with well over 40 years of experience. He can help you communicate with spirit as well as he has all his life, without ego or negativity. We all have a choice in our lives. With spiritual guidance, we can open up that which we are created or were created with, the ability to connect with source, spirit, and the other side. Tonight joins with us. Welcome back. We will learn about his experiences through his life. Welcome back again, Graham Williamson. How are you?
Oh, super duper. Thanks for that wonderful intro. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Every now and then I get tongue-tied because I keep reading through it fast and without actually looking at it.
Well, in a way, that's exactly what I do. I don't look at it. I just respond.
Yeah. You know, some stuff is scripted and then some stuff is unscripted.
I'll pass.
Right?
Oh, dude.
Yep. But so you were actually on our very first broadcast, believe it or not. Now, see, is that a coincidence or is that a synchronicity? I think that might be a synchronicity. But even though so it technically was the first broadcast, because we went live for the first time and you kind of jumped on in and you're like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So
we should have had this interview on Friday.
And it was a different day too. It wasn't on a Monday when I originally started the show. I think it was on a Friday, and then it jumped to like a Wednesday. You know, it was a Wednesday for a while.
Yeah.
So,
Friday. Yeah. We did that interview at the show we were at.
Yeah. And but yep. So YouTube is working, thank God. So it is. We corrected the issue from a few weeks ago, about a month ago. So at least we know it's working. We are streaming, so everybody's chimed in. So awesome. We got 4 people watching. So yeah, if you have any questions during our discussion tonight with me and Graham, please chime in if you can. Or do you want to do a reading for somebody tonight on the air?
Whatever floats, Paul.
Okay, whatever floats. All right, cool. So if you wanna call into the show tonight, let me put up the our show number. You can call 407-636-1157. Call into the show. If not, just chime in on the live chat here on the YouTube channel. And if you got a question, I'll moderate it and put your question up, and we'll read it through and give a reading that way. But anyway, let's dive right in. For those who are not familiar with her work, how did this all start for you?
Well, believe it or not, when I was living in England, we lived with our grandparents, my 4 siblings, a mum, my grandparents, and a war baby. And at the bottom of the garden, there was a stream that used to go across it. And I used to go down to the stream, told not to get wet, because clothes were very rare, in them days.
Yeah.
But I started seeing things, and then in the end, it turned out I was seeing fairies, which to me was, yeah, okay. And I got to know fairies at the bottom of the garden. I couldn't tell anybody really because I was 3.5 at the time. I just went down the garden and making little pathways and rockeries and that in the stream, not getting wet. But when I went to school at 4, my school in those days used to tell people who your friends were. I said, hey, I played with fairies at the bottom of the garden. I went home very depressed by the reaction I got from people. And my grandmother sat me down because my mum was working. My father had disappeared. And she put a glass of water in front of me. And behind that, a candle. She says, what do you see? And now I'm 3.5, nearly 4. Yeah. I said, a candle. She said, right, now come and sit down this side.
Yeah.
What do you see? Glass of water, candles. Same thing, different viewpoint. They don't see what you see. After that, I didn't care.
Yeah.
And from then on, I started listening to my guts.
Yeah.
And it's developed ever since. But,
Now, when it comes to fairies, now, like when people think of fairies, people kind of like, even I relate to it. I kind of relate to the old fashion or the old school back in the day in the UK, which is where you're from. And because when you say fairy, people think, oh, Scotland and Ireland and the UK and stuff like that. But they're rarely everywhere.
that's the beauty
associate of it.
That. You see, fairies have to feel safe. The energy around them has to be without chemical, which is why, due to modern farming and stuff, it's becoming harder for finding hot spots for fairies. And I've been a retired Navy guy. I was 1971 to 86. I travelled mostly the Mediterranean, but from Norway, all ports to Sicily.
Yeah.
North Pole, South Pole. I went to Bermuda, Nova Scotia, Quebec, Prince Edward Island, Iceland, Greenland, and that was it. I say that was it. But in that time, I went to all these natural sites because I was a cook and I wanted to learn the local cultures and belief systems because I knew about divine energy, the spirit. And in some places, you find these hot spots. And it just made me feel at home because that energy made me feel comfortable. And that is all over the world.
Yeah.
Albeit I haven't traveled the whole world, but my world that I've traveled, I felt comfortable.
Does it seem to be more common fairy activity in the UK, in that area of the world?
Well, up until I was, I'd say about 13, we left my grandparents' home when I was about 9. And I still visited until I joined the Navy in 1971. But I'm 68, so you can work out the time scale. But it was very active and there wasn't so many chemicals.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were just learning about helpful chemicals. But there's all around England, there's the old castles and historical sites, which I loved exploring. And when I got older, I travelled to every single site I heard of or saw or knew about. And I just enjoyed that energy.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for the heritage sites in Great Britain. And that is England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. And they don't allow too many chemicals on a lot of these historical sites.
Yeah.
And try and preserve it as natural as they can, which enables spirit energy and the fairies.
And that would include like insecticides and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
correct?
Especially the insecticides.
Yeah.
It's okay to have natural stuff. In fact, I've been over in Florida now for 21 years, and we really do not like any chemicals on the property.
Yeah.
So I can grow things and I know the soil's good. And I've seen more wildlife in my garden now than ever before. It's just nature likes it without the chemicals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I've got cats and dogs as well. So,
Now,
yeah.
do you do read like I do this all the time too. I'll get information from spirit in regards to my yard or my trees or my plants or my garden, what's left of the garden. But like 3 weeks before Hurricane Ian came. Spirit came to me, and right off the bat, it woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning on my day off. Now, granted, I want to sleep in. It woke me up that early and told me, you better trim your trees, and I want you to do it now. And I'm thinking, okay, all right. I wasn't asking questions. I felt it and I heard it, and it was very prevalent. I did. I got on Angie's list. I'm not, that's not free advertising or other thing.
Yeah.
I did it about a week later. Arborist comes, chops, trims, prunes and stuff like that, because they were huge. And what happened 3 weeks later? A hurricane came.
I could go with that. You know, when we had the 4 hurricanes back in early 2000,
Yeah.
2004, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, where we live, we were very sheltered, but we've got a load of trees around us. And a lot of the attempted tornadoes damaged the tops of the trees. And since then, we've known there's been some limbs stuck at the top of these trees. But then we had Hurricane Ian, and one of the dead tops finally fell down but didn't separate from the main trunk and just hung there. Had a cordon off section of our driveway. And then Hurricane Nicole finished the job. And literally, when it landed, it missed a truck by that much on one side and ornaments. I mean, everything just fell perfect.
Yeah. Wow.
But the point is, it'll happen if you safeguard. If you listen to your guts, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you a question. Have you been having headaches?
Not recently. Well, if I do, it's probably because I haven't really. It's mainly because I skip a meal.
Yeah, because I'm feeling a lot of tension just here on the side of the temple, by the temple.
Yeah.
I was thinking, if you're feeling that, then I can let it go. But if I've always listened to, hang on a minute, since I've been talking to you, I've been getting a little bit of a throb here.
Yeah.
And it's, okay, because I'm working all the time, which is what part you were asking.
Yeah. It's something you can either turn off or turn on. But your switch is always on because you're always picking up something. As soon as you get into a person's energy, you can start picking up information.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Because that energy is always around us. It's in us.
Yeah.
And if you don't listen, well, this is my opinion. I've learned every time my stomach goes, or I start feeling something different, like the headache was starting there, and then even the muscles in my leg goes in cramp, or whatever it is, my body says, hang on, that wasn't there a second ago. Why am I picking it up now? Oh, the new energy. And then I acknowledge it by saying it, it disappears.
Yeah.
It's not for me to keep.
Yeah.
And I do switch off when I go to sleep. I say, this is my time now. I do wake me up, life or death. Then in the morning, thank you.
Yeah.
Good night's sleep. But they wake me up at 4 o'clock every morning, or the dogs do, wanting out. Then I start talking to spirit.
There you go. Now, as far as never turning stuff off, like when I was explaining, do you like, and it's not only giving readings to people, it's just, maybe working with stuff within your own life, picking up, stuff that might be happening, or not like prophetic stuff, but like kind of like prophetic stuff, like, oh, I feel this is going to happen tomorrow, or this is imminent.
I choose to switch that off unless it's life or death.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm talking to somebody and they say, oh, can you give me my future? Well, 95% of the time I say, well, hang on a minute. How can you have a happy future if you're lying to yourself? You've got a veneer, blah, 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 blah. You've got all these things from the past that's blocking you living your life to the fullest. So how can I read your future if you've got all this past with you?
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. You can't have a happy future if you're not happy now.
Yeah.
Because you're blocking that energy flowing through you, because it's all up here. it's stuck in your head and you're thinking about your past and everything. I
Yeah.
don't know how that go. I'm not saying I don't still have life. It's just that I chose to live my life the best I can. Yeah, I fail, but each day I'm doing my best.
True.
And listening to yourself.
And in general, the people that seek readings from you, they're looking for answers to, the universe.
I did an event a while ago, and it was very busy. And people say, "How can you remain active and eager?" Because the energy's flowing through me. I'm not consciously aware of what I'm doing. Luckily, my wife Sandy, she's normally pretty close, and she assists me. But we tell people, "You'll be finished in a minute, whatever." But I get buoyed up to see that light in somebody's eyes, of recognition, or "Oh, I wish I'd thought of that." But they've hidden it from themselves. And that keeps me so hyped up. I love it. I love working with spirit. But a lot of it is psychic work, which is totally different.
Put a chime out here on the chat. If anybody wants a reading, chime in on the chat. Now let's go back in time again. Let's go back to when I wouldn't say when this all started, but what was a moment in your life where you're like, boom,
well,
this is a gift.
I've had many booms when I was very younger. My mother was a rescue medium, which is when somebody dies traumatically, they're not aware of the past.
Yeah.
And a rescue medium brings them to the light divine and helps them go on in their life, even though they're on another plane of existence. And my grandmother was a medium. And my grandfather was one powerful, big, 6'4", weighed about 300 odd pounds, but he was the gentlest man I've ever met. And as kids, as I said, I've got 4 other siblings. We used to go to the cartoons, film every other weekend. And one time we're all sitting there, and my grandfather had passed. And I'm sitting there watching this cartoon, and then next second I see this big image of my grandfather's face on the screen going, "Get out." Now, what kid ignores a grandparent?
Yeah.
I looked at the other and says, "Granddad just said, let's go now." Nobody argued. We all left. 2 weeks later, the place burnt down.
Ooh.
That was a wow moment.
Yeah.
I saw that. I acknowledged it. And they all said, "Did you?" But we all were basically trained in psychic work and mediumship, but our mothers and grandmother never stated this is how you've got to do it.
Mm.
These are the parameters. This is what you can work with. You work it your way. Because every single medium, every single psychic is different. We are individuals where the energy flows through us or not. And I learned from then things happening, being involved in a car accident, and the rear end axle of my car was taken away by 2 buses.
Oof.
Yeah. And I'm like the love bug watching the back end catching the front side, comedy type thing. But it was real. Why did I survive? My friend went in the Navy in my place and never came back from the Falklands. Why? I don't know what my purpose is in life other than to prove continuity of life after the change called death. And every single day I am working to show people your loved ones haven't stopped living because they're no longer here physically. They're with you. And when I do readings, I tell people, hang on, young lady, how many times I wrote a number down, says you changed your clothes or socks or whatever item of clothing 2 or 3 times. And you picked up, you couldn't find your keys, you found your keys A, B, C. And I go, how did you know that? Because your partner, mother, whoever it was, come through and said, "Yeah, I'll see this. This is what she did before she came here," or he.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it, but it's that energy. You work with it. You know that energy. you trust your guts.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is the most important sentence.
Sometimes it doesn't come through really quick. Sometimes it does. It's all about the energy and the flow of energy. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you look at what? Sorry.
Yeah. So Gloria Haas is chiming in here. She said, I would like a reading.
Hello, Gloria. Oh,
Welcome, Gloria. Thank you for chiming in.
first thing, I have met Gloria a couple of times, but we've not really had a chance to get to know one another. So I'm just going to say, Gloria, the first thing I'm picking up is about your hair. I know how special it is, but it's also, I'm picking up your mum. Now, remember also, folks, when I say your mother, father, loved one, all that, they don't have to be passed over to the next realm of existence for me to pick up their energy. That's important. It doesn't mean they've just died or whatever. It's just I'm picking up the energy of your mother. And first thing she's saying is, your hair's better than mine. It's a bit of a joke thing. And she's also telling me, you need to be eating better than what you are at the moment. I know you've had all the Thanksgiving things. If I'm going on the right track, just say yes or no. I don't mind, Gloria. But I know it's about eating better. I know you've been centering yourself and working better with yourself, but you're still thinking on the old ways of being restricted. And you've got to do more writing. That's a big thing. You've got to do more writing. Gloria, do you understand about the color change in your house? Yes or no? The color change in your house. Because I'm just seeing somebody decorated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know how to say it better, but it's also about a car. For traveling, you've either just changed or in process of changing your car. Hang on, it's servicing your car. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I've been shown all these things about you that you're doing at the moment. You've got so many things that are happening. You've got to take a step back and say, what's my priority? What do I need to do? Not what I want to do. What do I need to do first? And then you'll be able to formulate a better plan because you're rushing like head's running. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if that's okay, I'll leave that just now. But thanks for coming in, Gloria.
Yeah. Joanna, she's like, she'll take a reading if there's time.
Let's have a look at this. There's something on. I can't see a picture. Okay. First, I'm getting to know Joanna is a nickname for you. I don't know what the nickname is, but people call you by a nickname in your immediate circle of friends. And you've been feeling a little bit out of sorts with your, I would say, work. And yeah, you need to be sidestepping in your work. You need to, Gloria doesn't even own a car, so maybe get him one.
You may have been picking up someone else too that was listening because she's
no,
like,
it's to do with Gloria.
Yeah,
I know it's something to do with a car. So as I say, I'm not 100% accurate. I can't be, but I'm only human. But Joanne, I'm thinking you need to sidestep in your work and to take more ownership of it because whether you're just in a position of leaving or thinking of leaving, I'd think again and get your qualifications sorted before you do. I hope that makes sense to you. There's also, I've got a lot of water around you and relaxation. It needs, like you need to ground yourself. I hope that makes sense because I just really feel that you need to ground yourself.
Yeah.
No, I can't get any more than that for now.
All right.
Because of mine, yeah.
Because Lori says he might be talking about her, but Lori goes, let's see, something that resonates that you also said too, as far as her current situation that Lori mentioned, something that resonates. So if Lori's listening still,
well, you see, when I follow what my guts tell me, I can never take it back. I don't want to take it back.
Yeah.
It's not always just for the recipient I'm talking to. It may resonate for somebody else as well, which is why they come in the room and then they get that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them think, that's what I should be doing.
Yeah.
But I love, Gloria actually stated quite clearly, but I am picking up what I am. And if I'm wrong, I admit it. I do the best I can for what I feel. And that's how I've got to be where I am today, by trusting myself. And even, well, I've been thinking about what I'm like. Yeah. You see, what spirit do for me is tap into my memories by the recipient's energy. And it's my memories that I'm interpreting for the recipient.
Yeah.
And I can only go by what I'm picking up at the time.
And the thing is too, and this might resonate with you too, is when it comes to symbols. Like sometimes when mediums get symbols, such as myself, if I get symbols and they'll start coming in, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I can't guess what that is. I gotta see and say what I see it is, and then give the message. Whether it makes sense to the person that you're reading for, it may not make sense at first. And then later it kind of goes, like we might see a car, we might see that, oh, there's car problems. It might not necessarily mean there's car problems. It might mean transportation issues or something. So
it's got to be arranged or not. Something.
It's a puzzle that we both that the reader and the sitter has to kind of make sense with.
But I never take back, because that would infer that I'm incorrect of myself, and I can't. I really want to do a proper reading for Gloria when we bump into each other again. I hope that's not too long, because I want to find out what's happening from now later.
Yeah.
Because that would be, because she's always been. I've only met her 2 or 3 times, and when I'm working, I haven't got time to socialize when I'm working. I'm like, hi, and then off you go.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the questions. I really enjoy that. I'm always curious to find out what's going to happen. You say this is times that we wish we could read the future accurately all the time. It's scary. It's scary. I have done that because people say, "Oh, you can't do this, or you can't do it," and I've had to prove a point, and I'll step away. But that's what.
Yeah, Gloria goes, I was talking to Spirit today about needing a driver for a dream I have.
It all comes in together, doesn't it?
See, there you go. Now it makes sense.
But also, don't forget, it really may not be just the recipient, folks. You've got to remember that. But I love it. We talk a lot with Spirit, don't we?
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, Gloria.
Have you noticed that that there's a surge out there of people realizing or developing mediumship abilities?
Yes. I think because of COVID and people started to have more respect of distancing and trusting what they feel, it opened up that energy.
That conduit, that conduit. It opened up the dams.
And why? And to start questioning, why didn't I listen before? Why didn't I feel that before? What's changed? It's not circumstance; it's themselves that have changed. They're listening to themselves.
Yeah.
I say everybody's a psychic. Whether you listen to it or not is your choice. But not everybody's a medium. But when you open up to the psychic and the mediumship, you go, I should have done that yesterday. That becomes, I wish I'd known yesterday for today. But again, that's reading the future, and I just enjoy the moment. If you've been honest with yourself and said, "I've done my best," then the next step's going to be another step up, not step down.
Yeah. Now, do you have advice for people out there that think that they have a psychic ability or a mediumship ability, but they don't know how to attune into it or how to? I mean, I could tell people that, but
yeah,
this is your show tonight.
As I say, I believe everybody in some degree is a psychic because it's human nature. It's a physical, material aspect, and everybody's got a gut instinct when you walk into a new place or you meet somebody, you either like them or you don't, or you like the situation or you don't. You either say yes or no. If it's yes, you go into it. If it's no, you should step back. If you don't step back, you say, "Oh, I wish I had done." That's the psychic side. That's the simplest way of putting it. But not everybody is a medium, because you've got to be honest with yourself all the time to be able to communicate with a higher consciousness and that energy. Facing yourself is the hardest thing you have to learn. And being honest with yourself is even harder. If you can look in the mirror and say, "I'm being true as I can be."
Yeah.
It's not what I want, it's what I need to learn. Wanting is ego. Needing is from the heart. And I've always listened to my heart and my guts before I say anything. I don't consciously think what I'm saying, even to you, Paul. I just come out with it because it's from my heart.
Yeah.
I make no apology for it. People say, "Oh, but you're weird." Yes, I'm an individual, same as you. I don't follow anybody. I follow my guts. I've come down here on this earth in this human form. I'm a spirit having a human experience. I want that experience to be a good one, not a negative one.
Yeah.
Everybody has to look at themselves first. And each time you get something right, pay attention to it. It becomes psychic first, then medium. I haven't met somebody who's a medium, then went, "Oh, hang on, I'm a psychic as well." You're a psychic first, then a medium.
Yeah.
But you've got to listen to yourself.
Yeah. Not all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums.
Thank you, Paul. Couldn't put it better. Yeah. Because when people say, "Oh, I'm going to see a psychic and find out about my mum, dad, or whomever," I'm like, "Why are you going to a psychic?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just as I say, I'm old school. My mum being a rescue medium and my grandmother being a medium, they defined the two.
Yeah.
You're one or you're both. You can't be just a medium and not a psychic.
Yeah. And psychics, finding a psychic, it's a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, everybody's a psychic. Everybody has that psychic gift. We all can pick up on that intuition, that inner self and that higher self and the energy. It's all about energy. But being a medium is opening that doorway further and becoming a conduit and that telephone call between here and the other side.
Yeah. Excuse me. The best part I love being a medium is I have no boundary. I have to say, before I start working in like at a fair or whatever, or having somebody come or even coming on the show, I have to prepare myself to do the highest and best before I even come on the air or open the door to not somebody come to my home.
Yeah.
Because I want Spirit to know I'm ready. I want them to know everything from that moment on is for them and the recipient. It's not about me getting it right. It's about me acknowledging what I'm getting. For Spirit and the recipient. And as I said, when you see that light come on in somebody's eyes, recognition of a loved one, nothing beats it.
Yeah.
When you get that really negative person that comes for a reading, no.
Yeah. The critic.
Yeah, I love them because it makes me work harder. I can have a 15-minute reading and 10 minutes. No. I said, well, if you're not happy, get up and leave. But as they're about to say something or do something, I said, hang on, did you do what? How do you know about that? Oh. And then the last 5 minutes is bum, domino effect.
Yeah.
And then they go, I never believed before. And I love it because you just need one word, phrase, or action, and it just snowballs. Because spirit are waiting for you to get it right.
Oh yeah.
That's why you've got to be honest with yourself.
Have you felt it? Have you had individuals where it was like you couldn't get anything? It was like they were blocking.
I've had 3 people in all my life that I went, oh no, I'm not even going to entertain the thought. And I'm not going to lie to them. I'll say, I'm not feeling well. I don't tell them why I'm not feeling well. But can we postpone this and we'll do it on the phone or another time? I just can't, because I cannot give a negative reading.
Yeah.
I just won't. I'd rather look a fool and walk away than open my mouth and give a negative.
Yeah.
Because I'm not honoring spirit if I lie. And I've had 3 people that I just, no. Their energy was just so negative towards me and what I believed in or connections I had. I just didn't want to open the door. I just walk away.
Yeah.
But you think of how much strength you've got to have when you step away consciously, trusting spirit to work, and they say, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
I had an incident when I was first married, and we were watching telly, and been all romantic, watching the movie and everything, and I just saw this shadow. I thought, what the heck? And it was like somebody got a big nail stuck in a wall, and then we got a torch and shining the torch under the nail. It was going up against the wall, so it was moving the opposite way to what the light was. I thought, hang on. I had to physically help my wife out of the house, walk a quarter of a mile. A taxi appeared going the wrong way, took me to my sister's house, even though I didn't state where I wanted to go. He knew. Dropped me off. 2 days later, my mother arrived from Scotland.
Yeah.
Said, everything okay? We went back and found a spirit and a miner who'd lived in this area. It wasn't in the house. It was a relatively new house compared to the spirit. And the spirit was locked in his little world. And he was full of animosity. But that was freaking wonderful how it worked out. And my grandmother stated to me, she said, times you have to say no. Why did you go into that house? I said, because I have to give this spirit peace.
Yeah.
Good answer. Instead of being afraid, I faced it. It just blew my mind. Because negativity is a perception of where you're looking at it.
Yeah.
And
perception.
Negativity is there, but it's how you respond to it. I've seen negative stuff. I've studied the occult. I've studied all paganism and all the rest of it. I'm not saying all paganism is negative. It's not, but it's your use of the knowledge you have.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost like spirits out there. Like, I mean, spirits. I wouldn't say malevolent spirits, but spirits that are bullies are kind of like the same bullies that that we experienced here in life.
Yeah.
They're not evil. They may not necessarily, those are demons, but the evil spirits or the malevolent or nasty spirits are those that have been bullies. They've been bullies in life, and they're going to be bullies on the other side.
But that's why
it seems like rescuing them too. It's like when you're face to face with their energy, it's you're kind of going, oh, whoa, hold on a second, and you kind of push back, and then they start to realize, oh, okay.
In a way, that's what my mother did with the rescue mediumship. There's people that are trapped in their little world in the other dimension, and they don't know they're dead. Yeah. And they're so angry and frustrated, living in this little world. Nobody's listening to them. No one's responding. Nobody acknowledging them. And all this animosity, this self-hate, and it builds up that negative energy. And you've got to be so strong to go into that and say, hang on a minute, you are on the other side. you are no longer of this earth. What year was it you were born? And this is the year I was born. You've got to show them they're no longer of this earth.
Yeah.
And then all that frustration just disappears. And again, which is why it's called rescue work, rescue mediumship. You're showing them that they're trapped in themselves, and you're rescuing them. And it's so beautiful. I'm not quite doing it all the time, rescue work, but it's something I want to do because in honor of what my mother taught me and my grandmother, because there's not a lot of people doing this sort of work.
Yeah.
Helping.
Now, let me put up your information. So, for anybody who wants to reach out to you after the show, they can contact you at your number. You do have a website, but it's kind of in limbo right now. So you can reach out to Graham at 352-409-1060 and leave a voice message, and he will get back to you.
And I'm on Facebook as well, Graham Williamson.
And then Facebook. I'll put that up on the ticker too after I let that scroll by a couple times.
Yeah, and I have a Facebook page, Medium Graham Williamson as well, which I do my spirit work as well as I do my Facebook. Is a way to contact me. Right, because I'm not technically orientated.
I claim I am, but people have seen, for those who have followed the show, know that things happen. Things happen.
I love it when the energy affects something in the show at the right moment. It may feel wrong, but it's always the right time.
Yep.
And you look back and say, I'm glad it went wrong there because I was about to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing.
Yeah. I've had a guest thus far that has been on the show, but it got so bad to the point that we had to do it by phone. I still did the show, but she had to call in on the phone and do it.
I remember doing an interview with you on the last 15 minutes and it disappeared.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the heck? You know,
I think we touched in on a subject on something and it kind of went, it just dropped.
Because it got too deep and I said, But,
I have done some shows. This was when I first started Conscious Radio Network back in 2015, and I did some shows on conspiracy theory type things or some UFOs and alien things and whatnot, and suddenly we got cut off. And this was my phone.
Yeah.
And we got cut off. It was like, oh boy.
Well, I know also I'm very interested in that sort of topics as well, and my experience of ufology and seeing stuff and all that. That was part of the reason why I left the Navy, because of my gifts I felt were being used negatively.
Yeah.
And I had to be true to myself and say, well, if you wait another 8 years, you'll have your full pension and everything. I said, no, I'm done because I'm being used negatively.
Yeah.
And it's all make-believe anyway, Graham. I said, well, you can make believe, I'm living it. I'm going. So, you know,
and remember, I think it was last year. It was last year during the Orlando, one of the Orlando, I think it was the Orlando event. I was out in the lobby doing interviews. And you actually, I think you did you were doing the last broadcast and we were getting ready to wrap things up. And you started talking, and I think we recorded like the first, it was a good 10, 15 minutes. And then suddenly you got into a very specific subject and everything dropped.
Yeah, you had your friend that was there. Yeah, you had your female, a friend of yours that was there at the time. He asked me one question. I said, do you want to know the answer to that one? And then everything went.
Everything stopped. They pulled the plug.
Well, again, with the energy that we're feeling and where it's coming from, nobody can define exactly, say this is my opinion, nobody can define where the energy comes from, but it's around us and in us. It makes us what we are. And it's how our individuality to the one energy, we're like facets of the same mind, or consciousness, which is why I love the title of your show, Conscious Radio Network, because more people are becoming more conscious of this energy. People like yourself, and in part what I do, is to show people we all have accessible, well, we can all access this energy.
Yeah.
But you are accessing it already by living. It's actually being aware of that energy.
Yeah.
And being consciously aware of that energy makes it different.
Yeah. As long as we are actively associated at a particular time, place, in our environment, and we're conscious of what's going on around us, and we can train ourselves to kind of step back or slip away for a moment and step away from ourselves and start observing and listening to our emotions, because emotions and how we feel also seem to give us signals of things of what's going on around us in the spirit world.
Yeah, because we're created consciously, but even before we're actually coming into this physical world, we're conscious energy looking down and seeing it, and you want to experience this in the physical, which is why we're born. And then you tap into those memories that you've had before you were born, like you get the deja vu effect, and which is one of my favorites. And some people say, "Oh, that's reincarnation." It may be, it's a combination. But you see, we've got all the knowledge we need inside us. And I used to love the old Kung Fu, Shaolin monks and all this. Self-enlightenment. We're all striving for it. But what is it? It's to find out our purpose for being here. Not many attain it. I know I'm a teacher of mediumship, but I'm old school. My methods are different from the American way. But I've been here 21 years. I'm learning the American way. My mother was American, but lived in England most of her life. So it's a balance. And I acknowledge this energy that we all have and this consciousness that we all have in our inner selves. And when you tap into that, there's no limit.
Yeah.
But you've got to listen to your guts first, the center of your being first. The more you listen, the more it opens up and the more aware you become. And life's a lot different. Your life will change.
We gotta step away from this thought generating machine up there that's always leading us into areas
I love
of concern.
I love that ego part that steps forward and say, but. And the second you realize you're saying, but, you think, why am I saying that? Yeah. I felt really good saying it in the first place, but now my ego's stepping in and saying, I'm contradicting that. And that is the human experience that we're meant to notice. Yeah. And when you realize why you've gone, hang on a minute, why did my ego step in there? And that's the beauty of listening to yourself. You can't have a human experience unless you're being a human.
True. Yeah. Now, as an intuitive or evidential, a lot of people probably ask, what is an evidential medium?
Well, an evidential medium normally comes through with sounds, words, actions, motions of a person that they know to have passed over.
Yeah.
And as I say, I get the mother joking about hair or the teeth. And the funniest one I ever had was 3 ladies, and the middle lady was the mother and 2 younger ones. And I was reading somebody on my left, and halfway through I said, hang on a minute, I'll come back to you. And I looked at this lady and my mouth was slobbering. I was like, I said, did your mother have problems with her teeth? And I was really drooling. And this was, what? All right, you can take it. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. And I finished the gentleman I was reading. I went back to evidently her mother used to take her teeth out to talk.
Yeah.
But to smile, she put her teeth in. And when she was eating, she had to take them out because they were the wrong size.
Oh.
And that evidence shocked this mother because she didn't believe in mediums. The daughters did. I don't know about the daughter. She said, how did you do it? I said, my body responded to the energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look a right idiot standing in front of people, but I know it's spirit trying to convey the actions of a loved one, and I'm not embarrassed for it. I love having a laugh, saying, "She has bad feet and teeth. Yeah, do you want your teeth back?"
Yeah.
But people are laughing. If you can make people laugh about the loved ones, that's the happy memories.
Yeah.
But everybody says, "Oh, they died," and they don't think of they're dead, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead. I take that barrier away. I show them that they're still with you. That's what evidence is, showing them they're still with you now, being around you.
Yeah. Would that also include them perceiving a specific injury that they may have sustained in their lifetime that you're feeling?
Well, yeah. I used to try the title of intuitive, medical intuitive, but then I found out it caused so many problems legally. But I found every medium is a medical intuitive. You say, "Oh, I'm feeling somebody died with a car accident." And, oh, injury and all this sort of thing. I said, "How do you know this?" I said, "Well, I've got my arm and I feel it's been cut off here, or whatever." And I don't go into gore or anything like that. I make it a positive reading.
Yeah.
I said, "Did they have a problem with their arm?" And they said, "Yeah, they did. They lost it." I said, "Yeah, but they always used to joke about picking things up with the left hand and they didn't have it." How did? Yeah, I said, and I come out with details that only the recipient would know. And I can't consciously remember what I'm saying unless I record it or some witness it. And then they say, "You said about," "Oh, did I?" Because I'm not consciously saying it because I've stepped back. And it's very difficult for me to say, "Oh, I know what I said." But I've set the parameters before, as I said earlier. You've got to set parameters before you start for the highest and best. And I won't give a negative. Evidence has to be relatable to the recipient for that day. As I say, even with Gloria at the beginning about the car and all the rest of it and the hair. Later on, it may come back about the hair from what her mother said, and she's always doing this with her hair.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picking up, and it's still there. But I know it's not, because I haven't got enough hair to brush anyway, so what the heck? I can have a laugh about it, but it may mean something to do with the heart and compassion for the one that's passed over.
Yeah.
Evidence.
Yeah, because let me go back here, because Gloria had chimed in earlier about her mother. Where is it? Yeah, right here it is. She goes, "Yeah, my mom used to tell me that I had prettier hair than she."
I'll have to play the video back because I don't know exactly what I said, but I don't know how I do this. I don't want to know because I know it works. Why fix what's working? I always end up breaking it. And the beauty of evidential mediumship is to give somebody relief to know that their loved ones are still with them, evolving. They're not stagnant. They're not in the box and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And I know it contradicts a lot of belief systems, but that's up to the individual. And as an individual myself, I've seen too much to feel that when I die, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, she goes, "My mom used to hand smooth her hair."
Well, I've been doing this all the time. Thanks, Gloria. Oh, I'm going to give you an extra hug for that one. I might wear a wig next time I come. But, evidence is only in the eyes of the recipient, not the medium.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
because I
very
mean, there's times when I give messages, I'm like, I'm going, what the heck is that? I'm like, what? Or I'll hear something. I'll hear like a particular word
yeah.
will just like come in, and I'm like, what the heck's that mean? But I have to deliver it. I have to say it. What is it?
I know.
But and then it'll resonate to them. You know, I'll be like, oh, or maybe not right off the bat, but then later it'll be like, oh, now it makes sense. So
One of the people I did in the past was shoelaces. I kept seeing these shoelaces for his voices. I said, "Do you understand about shoelaces?" How did you know? I said,
yeah,
"I'm seeing brown. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing black. Does that make sense?" She says, I couldn't decide what looked good on my new shoes. Oh, okay, fine. You know, but I said, I've seen your father, and he had big boots, and they used to just Velcro them or tape them up at the top. And he said, "Why bother with lace? Just tape them up."
yeah,
He was a worker, you know, I don't know, construction stuff. He said, "How do you know that?" I said, "He showed me." And I'm seeing all these colours of laces, and he's laughing his socks off about you and your laces. Tape them up, girl. You know, evidence all the time. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. If you listen to your heart.
Wow. So is anything up? We got about another 4 minutes of the show. What's happening? What's coming up? You have any new events you're going to be at? You're going to be doing
Yes,
any fairs coming up? And for those who are listening that are not in Florida, or are in Florida, then you may want to check out what might be coming up here.
There's an event I've just found out about in January. The MetaFest. It's called.
MetaFest.
And I'm just putting in for that. But
right.
I'm at Merritt Island, and also I'll be doing with Experience Psychic Fair. Look up, and Experience Psychic Fair South is for Florida, North is for New York, up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
they're the main ones I do. Plus, I actually got to plug my little Dare to Dream.
Yeah.
I do my show bi-weekly with WGSN Network Radio on a Wednesday, and also Angels and Spirits once a month with a friend in England. She reads angel cards, and I do my intuitive mediumship for 2 hours.
Yeah.
From 2 till 4. What's the date for that one? I forgot. That one will be the 14th of December. And we just show people, we do about 29 people, which is 58 readings in 2 hours. Well, we have a blast because I want people to realize spirit are positive. They want to be positive. They want to give you support, love and support, and say, you're on the right track. Even if you're not, they want to show you that you can enjoy your life more if you listen to your heart.
Absolutely.
I didn't write a list of things down, but if you want further information, just call me and I'll.
Yeah. Let me put your number back up here real quick. That way they can go to get a hold of you. Which it's and if you're listening later, it's 352-409-1060 is Graham's phone number. And when you do call, don't expect them to pick up right away. Because there's too many people. Too many people might be calling. So please leave a voicemail and leave your name, your number, a brief message, and he'll get back to you.
Yeah. Because I can give you my email address, thebrit77@hotmail.com.
There you go. Thebrit77. Let me put that. Do I have an email? Yeah. Let me put that up here. That would be at Hotmail.
Yeah. As I say, I'm on Facebook as well. You can leave me a message on that. I just love helping people. Yeah. And thank you for inviting me on your show.
You were very welcome. You're very welcome. And again, this is the I wouldn't say this is not the last broadcast of the year, but This is the last broadcast before December 2nd, which technically would be the last broadcast within the 1 year period of our anniversary. So the special show that's going to be on this Friday, actually it's not a show, it's a quick documentary. It's about a 7, I think it's 8 minutes, I'm not sure. It's very brief. So there's going to be about a 3 or 5 minute intermission before it actually broadcasts. So, you know, it has time for people to chime in, to wait for it to actually start. But it will be this Friday, a year in review of everything, of all the shows that we did. Really quick clip. So with an introduction and stuff like that. But yeah. But yeah, this is, you were on the first and you're on the last within a 1 year period.
Well, I hope it's not my last time.
No. It's never anybody's last time. So, and Joanne says, thank you. Thank you, Graham.
Joanna, sorry.
So, yeah. So there's his email, the Brit77, THEBRIT 77.
No, it's 2 T's. Two T's.
Yep, it's got 2. Does it have 2 T's?
No, it's got 1 T there. It's 2 T's. BRITT.
I thought it had 2 T's.
No, you've got 1 there.
Oh, it looks like it's got 2 T's.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people miss out when they're sending the Brit 77.
Yes. So let me get that back on there. Okay. It's got 2 T's.
That's it.
BRITT 77 at hotmail.com. There we go.
Well, I've had that one since 96.
Yeah. Right on.
It's a trusted. But I've enjoyed this immensely. It's been wonderful.
Right on. Let me turn it off. There we go. Cool. Well, Graham, you have a wonderful night. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming on tonight. Awesome. And I will see you around. And we'll it's not the end of the year yet. Almost. I can't believe it's almost December. So I just almost.
Well, the wall's looking better behind you, Paul. The wall's looking a bit more solid behind you now.
Yeah. There you go.
Remember when you first started?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. You've done really good.
Thank you. A lot's happened. A lot, and people are going to see that this Friday. That's why I encourage people watch it. Watch it when it comes on at 7 or at 9 o'clock this Friday here on the YouTube channel, and you'll get to see how the show evolved from the very first show to this one. Yeah. Awesome, Graham. You have a wonderful night, my friend. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for chiming into Conscious Radio Network's The Weekly Seance. And until then, tune in this Friday at 9 o'clock and next Monday at 8 o'clock back on The Weekly Seance. You have a good night.